get comfortable because I'm going to have my say. This is one of those things I would ordinarily just stop the class and have my say live because eye contact's important, and I feel it's one of those things that probably deserves that. But it's a short week and I'm going to respect your time. So we're going to do it right here in the video, and I strongly urge you to pay attention. Grades went down yesterday, first time in 6 weeks, and all of a sudden you have a grade. And I told you we were working on minimum wage, and you had a D, and then it got raised to a C, and then it was, scheduled to go to a B this time around. And I didn't have the heart. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't assign all those D's across the board. So I waited. I'm a coward. Say what you want. I just couldn't do it to some of you. Now, if you have a 75, it means one of two things. You barely squeaked by and you're doing the minimum to be where you are, or, hey, you're doing great. Somewhere in between those two is where most of you fall. There were another group of students who scored below a 75, and the reason for that is, number one, there were problems with your blog, with your DPEs. And go ahead and look. Does that represent 6 weeks' work? And did you follow instructions? The instructions are all laid out. I'm not going over that again. But that's the reason you fell below. And for some of you, it's also your daily engagement or lack thereof. And then there was a smaller group of students who scored higher than a 75 because they just deserved a bigger raise. And there's an even smaller group who got their first perks and were able to choose between music, 20% time, and or a couple homework passes. Needless to say, the first two were the more popular choices. They will have, as you will have, an opportunity to add to those perks, but those perks are earned. They're not a right, they're a privilege granted for doing great work. Now, and one more thing. Open your stats page and click the link. If that link does not go to your new blog's homepage, that's going to be your downfall next time around. That link has to go to your blog's homepage. Not the back end, not your old blog. Fix that. Okay, now, what are we looking at here? That's Boo. That's my supervisor. You think I'm obnoxious while I'm walking around the room looking over your shoulder, seeing what you're doing? Well, this guy will suddenly spring at the screen, trying to get that cursor, which he's watching right there. He's also interested in this art. Now, how was this made? Now, we'll get back to that. Let's jump over to this gallery. And this gallery has 30 images in it. And I'll let you go through the gallery yourself. Let's cut over to Illustrator. And the reason I did this yesterday after school is because I think some of you just aren't getting it. And I want you to. Those tools I gave you yesterday in that template, I've been trying to stress simplicity and some type of game plan. I pulled out a cube and I lowered the opacity to 75%, changed the blending mode to multiply, and then I used the actions to create these 4 other cubes and then grouped them. Then I went ahead and used, one of the actions to move this set of cubes up 1.5 units directly up, and I changed, when I sorry, when I selected a cube, uh, I replaced these instances, you know, from that one to this one, and then did it a third time. So these are three sets of this little group of 5 cubes at 75% opacity and multiply blend mode. And then out of these three sets, this shape right here, I generated 30 different patterns. And those 30 different patterns are right here. Now, do I love all of these patterns? No, but I think this pattern is so much different than this pattern, it's hard to believe they came from the same source. And then as I was working through these, I was thinking, man, I need to take some of these into Photoshop because some of them, if I get out here, you know, this could really benefit from some work in Photoshop and how much richer it could be. How strange, huh? The color of that cube. This is all those three elements of 5 cubes. Then I was playing around in Photoshop. Let's jump back over there and we'll escape out of that. And let me show you this stack, this layer of the 30 different cubes. These are all JPEGs that I placed in here at a bridge. And I was playing around with the blend modes between this one. If I turn that off, between that pattern and this pattern, and I said, it just didn't work. I had this thing set to difference at that point because I'd run through them. And I thought, I really like this, but I don't like this black line right here. And when I turned this off, I didn't realize at the bottom of the stack, I had this one last pattern still activated. If I turn this off, you'll see what that pattern is. And all it is those 5 cubes are having the pattern arranged in such a way that everything came out as these little diamond shapes everywhere. And I didn't plan this out, but I thought, whoa, that's cool. That has some elements we could really play on. And then how many other possibilities are sitting right here that I arrived at in a couple hours working from this simple arrangement that I don't want you to reproduce. I can think of 50 different things right now to try that are simple. This is not complex. But again, opacity shifts, blend modes, they are your friends and they are the key to achieving something that has visual interest. Now, am I saying this is a winner and it's the greatest pattern ever? No, no. It's just an example of what you can discover with a little discipline and focus. And I want you guys to understand that this class can be really fun if you learn the tools, and it can be absolutely boring if you don't take the time to learn and you don't pay attention to the instructions. Okay, this has gone on long enough. I want you guys to understand these are work days. The rest of the week, I'm going to keep it short. I'll continue to throw out ideas. Notice I work outside of class. I'm not asking you to, but during the bells, how about a little less talk and a little more work? How about actually getting something done? How about being proud of what you do? Because from this point forward, your raise, now it's on you. Those of you with 95s, that's not a guarantee you're going to stay there. And you can lose your perks. But the people that got them are not the types that would lose those. All right, everybody else, please engage. Your actions speak louder than words. This is a place where Valhalla speaks loud and clear with deeds, not words. Freedom with responsibility. Use it. Show me. make something cool.